Welcome back, benchwarmers. Well, baseball season is over, so it's time to focus on the best player of all time.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about it, but you're not wrong. I don't know what this guy can't do on a dime. Legendary stuff. 2024 was a season for the history books, unfortunately in Dodger blue and white.
Yeah, it is hard to enjoy it completely with him in that uniform, but this is historic stuff we're seeing. I'm Corey, diehard baseball fan.
And I'm Brendan, glad I got to see it, and this is RV from the Bench. Before we get started, if you're not already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you never miss any one of the new episodes.
Also, if you could please do us the favor, if you like what you see or hear, please don't forget to smash that like button.
Smash it for us, come on, it's free. It's free for you, it's free for us. Helps out the channel a lot more than you probably think.
Hell yeah.
All right, Corey. Well, not necessarily a team we like to talk about, but we're not going to talk about the team today. We're going to talk about, as you mentioned in the beginning, the greatest player of all time, Shohei Ohtani. It's pretty crazy to think about. But, I mean, like we said, there's this. What can't this guy do? It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane.
It's not, like I when we were kids and you play like Little League, there's always like one kid who can do both. I don't even know. I know this guy went to South Hills High. I don't know him anymore. I know it's like a friend of the family a long time ago, but Brian Slover, that kid in Pinto was hitting. I mean, I remember standing in left field one time and the ball going like, oh my God, how did he hit the ball in the fence that far? And he was the best pitcher in the league. He was like 8 years old, 9 years old. So like there are players that do it, but we've just never seen anybody do it at this level and this long at this level. So it's just mind-boggling to some of the things he does, and we're watching like in front of us at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Before we get too much into it, this is Tuesday, October 1st. Unfortunately, it is one day after Pete Rose passing. Pete Rose passed yesterday, Monday, at 83 from cardiovascular disease. A legend that honestly should be in the Hall of Fame. I know he has those Skechers commercials where he makes fun of it. Him and his wife are running around, and she's always telling him to get out of the Hall. But now that he's passed, man, it's just kind of sad that they just never freaking bent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. He was a great, if not maybe some would consider the greatest, right? I know Shohei is kind of making his case for that, but your thoughts on Pete? And obviously, it's kind of sad that he's passed.
Yeah, I mean, as a diehard, like I obviously we're Diamondback fans, and we know that that's not like a secret. But I am just a baseball fan in general. I have multiple games on at a time. I go to Angel games because they're $5. I just want to watch baseball. I don't care who's on the team. Like I just love baseball. And growing up, like I remember my dad always Charlie Hustle, Pete Rose, Charlie Hustle, hits man, hits machine. Like that's all I heard as like a young kid. And then when you become like a teenager and you start to realize, why isn't he in the Hall if he's so good? And you start realizing all the history of what he did as a coach and betting and like ignoring, basically saying he didn't do it for the longest time. And now until he passed away recently, like he'd been admitting basically and saying, I'm sorry, I bet on baseball. So it sucks he's not in the Hall. Having been to the Hall of Fame myself, I actually like a lot of historic, really cool stuff in there. My dad and I probably spent like, I don't know, 6 or 8 hours in there. It was a long day checking stuff out. And nothing about Pete Rose, who, as we talk about, is the hits king. He's got more than 4,000, more than anybody else in the history of the game. He played like 24 years in the league. Like, he did it all. And then unfortunately I haven't seen the doc that's on HBO Max about him, but from what I've heard, if you don't think he's a good guy now, you're definitely not going to think he's a good guy after it. And, when people like this pass away, like Bobby Knight is another one where it's very controversial of what they did during their careers. Yeah. It's a really hard day to like celebrate them because you want to, because obviously they're passing, but because of their past that they've had, it's kind of hard to really go full into the celebration. So it's just a very melancholy, I guess, is the best way to describe my feeling of it.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, at least I can say for myself, and I feel like a handful of baseball fans, because I feel like people do think that he deserves to be in the Hall.
Oh, yeah.
I think besides baseball, and I get that you can't, but I think besides baseball as the entity, most fans split what he did. Mm-hmm. What he did as a player, and he was never been, at least I don't think he's even accused or obviously convicted of betting on baseball as a player. Mm-hmm. And what he did as a manager, in most people's brains, they can separate the two. Yep. And if you want to never let him be a manager, but that's not how really the baseball works. It's everything you've done in baseball, right? Is that basically, or is it a Major League Baseball Hall of Fame?
No, it is Major League Baseball Hall of Fame.
So I mean, just I feel like you could separate the two, and it's just something baseball couldn't do. I guess maybe because technically he was a manager in Major
Yeah.
League Baseball.
Well,
But I think that's the hard part for me, at least. It's like,
yeah,
duh, but I know, and I don't think it's cool. But
maybe.
look at this.
Yeah, maybe the best way to do it is I've heard multiple people over years say this. Maybe you make a wing that's like all the steroid guys, Pete Rose with his situation, and all the ones that we kind of question that maybe didn't go about it the right way, as we like to say, or whatever.
Sure,
And you put them in like their own wing, so they're still acknowledged, but they're kind of in a separate own entity on the side.
I can see
That
that.
is a
That's kind of cool.
possibility. It gets
Yeah,
Clemens in, it gets Bonds in, it gets all those people that we,
McGuire.
Wire and all those guys that we just like. It was fun at the time, but like looking back, like I don't know. And it sucks too because like Bonds, at least for me and McGuire, really the two of them, they were home run hitters when they were young and like up and coming. They didn't have to go
Not that scale.
no, but they were power hitters, and Bonds
Yeah.
could even steal some bases. But then he got so big that didn't happen anymore. It was just home
Mhm.
runs.
Mhm.
And again, in '98 to 2003, when we were watching this home run battle, and not knowing all the details, it was awesome. But now
Super
it's
fun.
it kind of sucks. And now it's the same thing with Rose. Like all that stuff he did, as you mentioned, as a player, no questions. Like I don't know if the first play or thing that comes to your mind of Pete Rose when you hear his name, for me, is him running over the catcher in the All-Star game. Like that's how much he played and how much he cared about baseball. Back then when they tried in the All-Star game, he murdered. I don't even remember who the catcher was, but he ran that guy over. I'm pretty sure that guy died at the plate. Like it was a crash. And then that's just again Johnny Hustle. That was him. He just it was 0 to 100. There was no other way of doing it for him.
That's good. All out is how it should be, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So rest in peace, sir, and condolences to the family.
Absolutely.
We'll move on though to Ohtani, man. It was a pretty insane season. Obviously, some crazy stuff going on. He got freaking so close to 60-60, but he's officially the first person in the 50-50 club. 50 home runs. Let me put more than 50 home runs and more than 50 stolen bases. He finishes with 54 and 59 respectively.
God.
Just a great season. What's crazy is he's not like Schwarber either. Well, obviously he's not with the steal part, but I'm seeing the home run half, where it's either a home run or it's not. Yep. I mean, he hit for 310 this season, and it's only 54 home runs. It's not like he only had 150 plate appearances.
Yeah,
he was the main DH. He was batting 3-4 times. So he's hitting for average as well. I think second in the National League behind Luis Arias, who is like the next Tony Gwynn damn near. So I mean, this guy can hit for average too.
And not only that, over 300. Like not very many guys hit over 300 anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
very true anymore.
Like if you're a good player, you probably hit 250 to 260 max. You get about 20 to 25 homers, maybe 10 to 12 doubles. But like, yeah, 54 home runs, 59 stolen bases, 38 doubles, 411 total bases in the season, which has only happened by 19 players in the history of the game. Like, wow, that's insane. Like he's doing stuff that very few people or nobody has ever done before. And like we talked about, doing it on both sides. Like I know he's not pitching this year, but typically he is. And he's still, like we talked about before, he's not an ace necessarily. He might be on some rosters, but for most teams,
above average.
For most teams, he's probably a 2 or a 3 in the rotation, like
which is a solid start. That's like
absolutely
2 and 3s are mainstays in playoff. Like you need your 2 and 3 pitchers to be obviously if you're a playoff team, which the Dodgers are consistently since 2014 now, 10 years in a row they've won the division.
11 of 12 that they've won the division. Yeah, it's insane.
It's crazy. They're freaking good. So if he can even pitch like that, he's crazy, bro. He's crazy. Yeah. So
I mean, it doesn't hurt that you have protection behind you in the lineup or in front of you, like Mookie and Freddie too. Like that's a huge. They got to.
Oh, you mean how the Dodgers have 3 MVPs batting 1, 2, 3 in their lineup? Yeah, that's nice. How many teams have that?
You got to pitch to somebody. So like, and I don't know, like, and
that's lead off. So you're not just starting the game with a runner on first. Because he's getting the second because he's got 59 steals.
Exactly. And like the Padre game last week where the Padres turned the triple play to end the game, right? If you're the Dodgers, you have first and second with no outs, and the guy at the plate is not a good batter. Even if you tell him to just hold the bat on your shoulder and strike out and watch 3 pitches, because I have Ohtani up next behind you. So you better not screw this up. And not that a triple play is like a regular thing, but even if you bunted and got him over to second and third and took the 1 out, and then everyone's like, oh, but they're going to walk Ohtani. But then you have Mookie Betts behind him.
Bases loaded.
Yeah, with 1 out. So then you could still win the game. There's so...
Sometimes news breaks so fast we don't have time to transition. So we're here with our midweek update for the Blueprint. Corey, Nando, welcome.
Good to be back.
All right, so we had a couple people that we were trying to pick up on the waiver wire. The first one was namely Terry McLaurin because what do we need, Corey, all the time?
Wide receiver seems to be a theme for us right now.
Wide receiver help. Nando, were we able to get Terry McLaurin?
No,
Or not. So what do we still need, Nando?
wide receivers.
Receiver help. That's right. We did, however, get Kareem Hunt. So we got Kareem Hunt. We dropped. I don't even remember who. Who cares? We're not playing him.
Charbonnet.
So Zach Charbonnet. That's right, because Kenneth Walker's back. Charbonnet. Hey, appreciate that week 3. We needed that, buddy. But you're the backup, so it is what it is.
Yep.
But yeah, so we picked up Kareem Hunt. We're not going to play him this week. He's got kind of a tough matchup and then a bye week. So maybe it was all for naught. But it also helps because if he does go off and maybe somebody else we were playing gets him, then at least it's not against us. So
yeah,
I know, Corey. I mean, we're kind of struggling here for wide receivers. A little upset we didn't pick McLaurin. The annoying part was, do you remember if we were talking about it? We were talking about it last week. Should we just pick up McLaurin? Maybe we should,
Yeah, we talked about it the week before. We debated, but we thought, well, maybe he just had one good game and Daniels had a good night. But they're on Monday night. They have a short turnaround into the next week. They're going on the road on the West Coast. Like the factors just all kind of didn't go in our favor when we were thinking about it. So we kind of screwed ourselves there. But we are where we are.
Yep, is what it is. Nando, I know you're disappointed. Was it your brother that got him? Because I know that he was one of the ones.
It was my brother that got him.
Son of a bitch, Maya.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Oh, okay. Hey, well, if it was, then
we don't collude around here. So if he gets him, he gets him. That's it.
Now, Corey, I said we were going to talk about that later. Don't get me heated right now. We're in the breaking news.
I'm just saying we don't do anything like that.
Yes.
Call your brother and try to finagle it, like lost out.
Right. That's right. Okay. All right. Woosah. All right. But Nando, we were able to grab Kareem Hunt. How is your lineup looking this week? I know we're not starting him. So week 5 matchup is on the board. It should be fairly close, but how you looking? Who are you feeling the most confident in? Who are you nervous about?
I'm feeling confident that Brock Bowers is going to come through because Las Vegas Raiders are the best. It's always going to be Vegas. But besides Vegas, Kyron's going to score me some points as per usual every week.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I'm hoping Jackson Smith and Jigba instead of Jordan Addison does it this week. I'm hoping.
Yeah, I know that we talked about it. We were mad that we didn't play Addison, and I'll be honest with you, Nando. This game is a 6:30 a.m. start because they're playing in London. I would advise against it. We did do a little starter sit competition between the two, and the internet or the fantasy pros, picked against it. But if you get that feeling early Sunday morning and you want to put Jordan, hey, it's your team, bro. It's your team. If you get the feeling, do what you want to do. We just give you a little bit of insight. And Corey, I mean, you mentioned it against a couple people. I know we try not to play matchups, but the Jets are a different story, no?
Yeah, the defense. That's what they're there for. The Saleh is a defensive-minded coach, and they're going to shut everyone down. So even though Minnesota has Jefferson and Addison, still the Jets defense is really good and has slowed down a lot of people this year. So we just anticipate Addison had a good week last week, and again traveling to Europe and having to play in London, you just never know what kind of game you're going to get. It's either going to be super low scoring or it's going to be super low scoring and a bunch of field goals. So we're kind of anticipating the latter, which we hope happens, and then Addison come back to bite us. But I guess if he does come back to bite us for the second week in a row, at least we know moving forward we
don't not play him.
Wide receiver situation figured out. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, because Deontay Johnson did pretty good for us, and I know that one of the people that we were thinking about doing. Nando, you're happy that we're starting Hubbard. I know Chubb is coming back, and we were torn about Kareem Hunt, but the past 2 weeks for Chubb have been pretty solid, right? 20-something points.
Chubba Hubbard has done us justice these past 2 weeks, especially 25 points last week and 20 points this week. We didn't play him this last week, but we still did pretty well without him.
Yeah. We're not going to make that mistake this week. He's playing against Chicago, which is the defense that we have, but Chicago's been getting kind of turnovers, so the fact that they get some points, hopefully it'll add out. As long as we get 5 to 8 from them, we should be all right. And hopefully Chubbard could go off again. But 2 Panthers on our team, which is weird because the Panthers started really bad, but with Dalton in control, it's a different story, no?
Yeah, big time. I mean, Dalton's more of a game controller. He's a vet, and he's done this. He's been there, so he knows what he's doing, and they can obviously keep everything a little more calm. Know the checkdowns a little better in the system. I just think Bryce Young was just kind of thrown in the fire, wasn't quite ready. I don't know if last year, and having 2 coaches and coordinators in your first 2 years and the owner that they have in Carolina doesn't help the situation.
Yeah.
but he's the one who wanted Bryce Young and didn't take C.J. Stroud, and now he's regretting it by putting Dalton in, which is a fast turnaround. So
Yeah.
I just feel bad for Bryce, but yeah, Dalton is the old vet, and kind of like Fitzpatrick back in the day, he's just always a backup.
Fitzmagic.
Doesn't do good after a couple weeks. You just throw him in there, and he kind of stabilizes the offense. They don't necessarily go off and do anything amazing, but they don't turn the ball over as much, and they look a little bit more, I don't know, up to par as far as the league is concerned.
Yeah. Okay. So we got 2-2 teams going against each other. Nando, do you know this guy, Nando?
Not a
playing
clue.
this week.
Not a clue who he is.
I know you know some of them. So
I will say though that he has taken 2 players that we did want, Justin Fields, and as well, I didn't notice, but he took Terry McLaurin. He's the one that has him.
So he's the guy that got Terry McLaurin.
If he comes back to bite us this week and we lose because of it, we're really gonna hate that we didn't pick him up 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Luckily,
100%.
Terry McLaurin isn't the one playing, or so far isn't the one he has started. So,
all right,
I guess we'll see.
Either way,
yeah,
we shall see. He's got a pretty good lineup, so but we're close. I mean, 3 points off ain't bad. Again, projections are just projections. So, Nando, keep us posted. But again, if you have any gut feelings, bro, run with it, dude. Again, it's fantasy football. It's not that big of a deal, and it's your team overall. So, any last comments, gentlemen?
Nope. No.
I love my team. I love the players that are on it. Didn't trade with anyone just yet, but maybe looking forward to some.
Yeah, maybe some one-sided trades for us too. Anyways, all right. So let's quickly cut back and seamlessly slide back into that Ohtani episode.
I'm glad I'm not a Dodger fan, because if I was, I understand their frustration with the way Dave Roberts manages that team or is told how to manage that team.
I'm hoping he does the same thing this year.
Yes, continue to do it as long as he's there. But it is frustrating as a fan for them. I understand where they come from, but as a fan of another team, I hope he stays there and they continue to do great in the regular season and fall apart in October. That's what I'm hoping.
I love Dave Roberts, my favorite coach.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, what he's doing is pretty insane. And we were talking about it too. He's like, a lot of times we consider best player of all time to be maybe towards the end or like the twilight, like when Albert Pujols was ending, like, damn, dude, Albert Pujols is really good. But he was like on the Angels and Dodgers, like you saw, or when they're retired, or like, wow, that guy played. But like, I feel like Ohtani's like still in his prime and we're already crowding him. I don't think it's too early, because of if he's able to maintain this, it's insane what he's done. But he's like in his prime and we're kind of considering him the GOAT.
It's just, I mean, we went to that game last year when he was on the Angels and they played the Diamondbacks, me, you, and my dad, and it's just, I'll go to a game just to watch baseball, but if I can see Ohtani, then I'm in. I mean, I don't want to go to Dodger Stadium, so I ain't doing that.
Never mind, you're going to get beat up.
Yeah, if I see him at, like when he was on the Angels all those years, I love going to games because they're cheap, one, and nobody goes, and I can see Ohtani. Like, I'm in. I love baseball. I just want to watch the game, but, man, he's just so good. It's crazy because like the numbers just don't make sense. It almost it feels like unreal.
Yeah, it's awesome. They have another thing that we were talking about actually is when speaking of GOATs, I think it's cool. And like I mentioned at the beginning, it's just like, it's crazy that it's happening real time because a lot of times, at least for the other 2 major sports that we watch, maybe football's a little bit different, but football is also like a lot newer of a sport. As far as like Super Bowl's only 50 of them, so it's only 50 something years old.
True.
But like Gretzky, we were alive, but we didn't really watch him play.
Yeah, but
Jordan, we were alive, but we were 10 or less. You know what I mean? Yeah, we were less than 10 years old. So we didn't get to see like the prime of the GOATs play it, and we're getting to like I witness it now. I just think it's pretty cool. Because I don't know how long or if anybody will ever usurp Gretzky and Jordan.
Oh man, I don't know.
Yeah,
and now the only thing Ohtani's missing compared to those other 2 greats that you mentioned, obviously, is a title, but he's never in the playoffs. So now that he's in it for the first time, I hope he still misses the title.
Yeah, hope he doesn't ever get it.
This is his first real opportunity. Now, I hope he does amazing individually, but I hope he hits solo home runs every time he's at bat, and the other team scores 3 runs every inning that he hits a solo shot. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
Agree.
And we'll see.
Yeah, Dodgers should. I hope they get swept out of the first round, but I hope Ohtani can, hit 5 home runs each game. By himself.
Oh no! You know what would be even better, and I know this would suck in the moment, but I think in the long run is the Dodgers get to the World Series, they go to Game 7, Ohtani is the MVP, but they lose. That would be
it would be very nerve-wracking for us, but
it would. But like it would be worth it if that's the way it ended. But
okay,
anyway,
before we
back to Ohtani, just the numbers, like, okay, remember I mentioned the 411 total bases. Only 19 players have gone over 400 bases in a season. The last time it happened was in 2001, but it was four guys that did it. It was Bonds, Sosa, Todd Helton, and Luis Gonzalez. It hasn't been done since then. Like, it doesn't happen often, and this guy did it. Everything he does is just, I'm almost
record-breaking.
speechless at this point. I don't even know what to say anymore.
Yeah, that's pretty much what he's done. Before we get to the last thing that I want to talk about, I want to tease one last time. This is episode 99.
Oh, yeah.
99, bro. We literally, next episode is 100. But make sure you check out episode 100. Again, we're going to have a special guest on. So make sure you check it out. We should have it up this weekend.
Yep.
Okay. Let's wrap it up with this, man. The 50th home run ball. Caught by that random guy, right?
And then wrestled away by the other guy.
It's pretty crazy that the Dodgers offered him $300,000. Now, I would love to have $300,000, right?
Yeah.
But the Dodgers just gave Shohei Ohtani $700 million and signed two people to $1 billion. So $1 billion organization and $100 millionaire are offering change for a historic ball.
If you think about it, they're really not paying Ohtani 70 right now. They're paying him 2 and 68 in 10 years. So, like, they really can afford to pay this guy for the ball. But I'm with you. If they offer me 300 on the spot, it's a great deal and it's a great offer. But I'm running out that stadium because I know if I go to auction this, it's going to be $1 million minimum for sure. Exactly. So now the situation of the other person who he possibly got it away from is suing him. Well, if I sell it for $1 million, if I give you like $10K to go away, we don't have to go to court. I think everybody wins. But, man, that ball, they're talking about it selling for maybe $4 million at the end of the day when it's all said.
Dude, it's historic because, I mean, like we've talked about, bro, baseball's been around for over 100 years, man. Yeah. There was 100-year gap between Cubs World Series wins. Like, that's how long baseball's been around, right? Mm-hmm. And this has never been done. Now, granted, the baseball's a lot crazier. Everyone's a lot more athletic now than they have been from 100 years ago in 1924. Ain't nobody looking like the beast that they got on the diamond now. But I'm just saying, like, it's so historic. It's got to be worth something. And if it was me personally, bro, I would keep it for at least through the playoffs to build the legend. Because if Ohtani keeps going, right, it's like, you guys sure you don't want this ball? You know what I mean? I wouldn't wait too long because I don't know if anybody else might do it. Like, what if Ohtani does it again? Is that ball still worth as much because he did it 2 times? I know that was the first time, but is it less now, right?
You're right. No, you're right. I think the perfect time to sell would be after the World Series and before the first of the year, before the winter meetings happen and everybody starts changing teams and we kind of move on to the next year. It's still in a topic. It's still talked about, especially if the Dodgers go far into the playoffs. It'll be continuing to be a topic of Ohtani.
Build that legend of Ohtani. Yep.
Exactly. So, yeah, I'm with you. Hold on to it. Sell it as much as you can. And if the guy who's suing you takes you to court, give him a little chump change off the side and call it a day and let's just move on. And hopefully, I mean, if there's a lawsuit involved, I guess everyone's going to know your name at this point. So there's no way to keep it secret. But otherwise, sell that ball, get your money, move on. Although the other thing you could do is you could, like you said, you keep it for a while and like maybe loan it out to the Hall of Fame, but still have ownership of it and see if maybe somebody goes in the Hall of Fame and have a note there saying, hey, this ball's up for, auction necessarily still. I don't know.
Silent auction or a bid,
or you could have it online as an auction, but it'd still be at the hall until the auction's over. Like you can draw it out if you really wanted to. But
yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't know. It's just history is pretty cool, man. I know that Topps made his pants, and they're gonna take the Dodger logo or the MLB logo that's on it and make a card out of it, a 1-of-1 card, and he's gonna sign the card too. Oh my gosh,
that makes sense. Okay,
that is cool as the ball, but
that makes sense. Why there's an audio clip going around of Joe Davis who calls the games for the play-by-play for the Dodgers, where after he hit the home run, he goes in the dugout, and MLB officials come up to him like, "Hey, we need your batting gloves, we need your bat for the Hall of Fame, we need this, we need that." So he's basically like undressing in the dugout, and Joe Davis goes, "And Shohei's naked," and that's the clip getting played everywhere on audio on the radio, and it's funny. But yeah, all that historic stuff's gonna go into the Hall, and then the ball, thankfully, is gonna get sold, and maybe at some point it'll end up in the Hall, but for now.
Bro, if I was Ohtani, just go buy it, bro.
Right? You gave Joe Kelly's wife a Porsche to change numbers. What's $1 million to you to give to this guy? I mean,
2, 3, 4, whatever he wants.
I'm being completely honest as a joke, but it's also serious. You had $16 million disappear out of your account you didn't even know about.
You didn't even know.
What's $1 million to this guy for the ball that you want? Come on. Just give it to him already.
Great point. Great point. And you should call 1-800-GAMBLER also, Shohei Ohtani, because you've got a problem and somebody else took a fall for you. I'm just kidding, Shohei. I'm a fan,
maybe
even though you're on the wrong team. But that was pretty much it. I mean, we just wanted to kind of talk about the history again. None of us are Dodger fans, but we love baseball. We're purists. We're enthusiasts of it, and you got to give props where props is due.
Oh yeah.
We just hope that they don't win the World Series, and then it's all for naught. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's go.
Let us know in the comments below who you're rooting for this postseason as we get into it right now. I was nice to see the Astros lose game 1. That was kind of nice. Those are the
Against
Astros,
AJ
Yanks,
Hinch,
Dodgers. Boom.
Did you know
Yes,
that?
I love that. That was hilarious, bro.
AJ Hinch coaching against the Astros. Like to see.
I was talking to Rocknell about that. We were actually talking. We were watching a little bit of the game earlier. I was telling us, I see that guy earlier. He's manager of the team that cheated, and now he's coming back to. So, anyways, yeah. Let us know in the comments if your team's in the playoffs, who you're rooting for, and if you know that guy or if you're going to buy that ball off the guy. We'd like to maybe just hold it for a moment.
We'd love to have you on. Let's hear the story.
Yeah, I'd love to hear the story. If you're watching, we'll take the interview. But yeah, appreciate everybody for stopping by. Thank you as always for seeing things from our view from the bench. I'm Brendan.
I'm Corey. Like we always say, enjoy the sports until we talk again.
Peace.
Go Padres.
Woo.
This was a Sycamore Fourth Studios production.